thing I try to get people to understand, if they really put their head down and work, they can accomplish a lot in life. The unfortunate part is people, they start, they stop, they start, they stop. They're not consistent. And that's the reason why a lot of people in life, no matter what business they're in, whether it's network marketing, real estate, or even traditional businesses, the world has changed. And you gotta really put it in to get it out, you know? As I look back and all the mentors I've had, the 3 billionaires that I had, always trained me. You got to stay in there for the long haul. When you see nothing happening, that means 1, it's either working on you, or B, it's working for you. And when it works for you, you can start building a team. It's like microwave popcorn is an analogy I like to give, Mr. Clemmons. You put the microwave in and it's quiet. You start your business, it's quiet for the first maybe 6 months or year. Then all of a sudden 1 kernel's pop, boop. And then all of a sudden, keep going, boo-doo-doo, keep going, boo-doo-doo, and before you know it, in a year or 2, you got a whole big thing of popcorn. And that's what's important. And you pick the popcorn, and you sit the popcorn down on the counter. Don't do it like I did, open it up, it sends your hair. But you got to stay focused. On the hottest day, even here out in the country, in this country we're in, I could take a magnifying glass and do this to it and never burn a hole in the paper because it's not focused. The moment you sit down and sit there and focus it, things start to happen in your business. And it's called momentum. And that's what most people lack in their business, is momentum. I notice when I get up every morning, I'm worth more than I went to bed last night. In other words, my net worth was up. I notice when I get up every morning, I'm worth more than I went to bed last night. In other words, my net worth was up. Because what I did years ago, the seed I planted, is still paying me dividends to this day. Like I said, Bill Gates, I've been getting paid for the last 30 years, every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month, every year, after decade, after decade, after decade. And I'm still getting paid. No matter where I'm living, or no matter where my homes are located, no matter where. When I wake up in the morning, wouldn't it be neat to be worth more money? And that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. And I want to get more and more people around the world understanding this. My first goal is helping people become more than they are. And what stops a lot of people becoming more than what they are is themselves. So I think it's important to give people a roadmap, of how to accomplish things in life. I'm going to be coming out very shortly with a roadmap. I think I'm going to call it the roadmap.
Excuse me.
Thank you so much. The roadmap. The roadmap. So I want to help people. And like I said before, with a closed fist, you can't give or receive. The more you open, the more you give, the more God will bless you. And that's what it's about. That's a universal law. And people don't understand the laws of success. There are laws to success. My mentor told me to stick with what I give you. Stay in your lane. And if you're not good in this particular lane, find somebody who's good in that lane and let them do that. But you stay in your lane. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. For years, I've never cleaned my house. For the last 20, 30 years, I've always had housekeepers. When my time is more important. I'll never forget my mentor, Peter J. Daniels, when we were together. He would said, I remember one day he was at church and they had a board meeting. And at the board meeting, they asked Peter, the pastor of the church said, I need the church clean. Peter raised his hand, said, I'll have it done. Notice the word, I'll have it what? Done. He didn't say he was going to do it, but he's going to have it done. So about a weekend later, the pastor comes to church and he noticed there was a gentleman in the church cleaning the church up, but it wasn't Peter Daniels. And he got on his phone, he got his office, he called them up, he goes, Peter, I thought you were going to clean the church. He goes, no, pastor, I was going to say I was going to do it. I was going to have it done. And with that, he went on to explain to the pastor, you understand, my time at that time was worth $200 an hour. Why should I spend my time at $200 an hour where I can pay somebody $20 an hour to do that task for you, for the church? And that was a very valuable lesson in life. So I don't cut grass, I don't clean my house, I don't clean my cars. I have other people doing it while I'm creating. Remember, successful people are always creators. What kind of wealth are you creating today for future dividends or future returns? So you got to create it. And that's one thing I learned from my mentors about being creative enough to understand what's my lane and stay in my lane. I got in real estate, did well at 54 properties and a hotel at one point, and I bought most of them on credit cards. And the hotel, definitely, that was another one. And the whole idea is I want to share with people some of the things that I went through. You can still do these techniques today, but a lot of people are not willing to learn. It's amazing how people don't read, how they don't take notes, how they don't do any of this. They think they get everything through osmosis. Well, no, you got to write it down and study it. The Bible says, study to show thyself approved, a workman worthy. You got to be worthy of it. So I've always been that way. So when I got in real estate, 54 properties, I converted into network marketing, which I've been on top of 2 network marketing companies. And the reason why, Mr. Clemmons, is because I studied. Like right now, I'm studying stuff about the internet. Well, guess what? It's new to me. I'm a dinosaur, but I got to learn, thanks to you, learn how to adapt to the future. And a lot of people are like the book, Who Moved My Cheese? A lot of people's cheese has been moved from the 80s, from the 90s to the early 2000s to now. And if you're not willing to learn, you get left behind. And the world is changing so fast today. So fast. I mean, look at me. It took me years, decades to really come up to par where I'm at today, thanks to you. But you have to be willing to learn. So when you say something, guess what? I listen because I'm learning something I don't know. But once I get it, I'm on it. You know, about the microphones. You told me, where are they at? I didn't have them. Went back to the house and got them. And guess what? I got them. I learned that lesson very quickly to have with me no matter where I go, because you never know when you have that opportunity to do some filming. Have that opportunity to run into somebody. You know, on the way here from our place, we just ran into Don, who owns the building, is up for sale. And got him on the spot, painting the building. Got a little broadcast, a little something from him. But life is full of that. But a lot of people don't see opportunity, they see obstacles. And I have on my desk for many decades, obstacles are what you see when you take your eyes off of God, you know, / opportunities. And a lot of people can't see it to save their lives. And then when they do see it, they think it's a scam. And all the word scam mean is, you know, I said this before, scam means still confused about money. Still confused about money. And so many people today are still confused about money. You're trying to scam me. Scam me, if you're an adult and you don't have an extra $500, $1,000, you've been scammed. You've been scammed. So what kind of investments are you doing? The number one investment most people need to make is themselves. Believe in you. If you start a real estate company, start network marketing, start a business, who's the number one person in that place? You are. So if you don't believe in you, who else is going to believe in you? Be investing in you, and then others will see that you're doing well, and they'll join your team. And team stands for together, each achieves more. And the reason why I built the team, my biggest team in network marketing, was over 8,000 people in 1 month. Well, guess what? It didn't start that 1 month. It started over time. I remember when I first got going, my first IBO I got was a guy named James Moore back in December 1990. You know, I walked into a meeting. I went to a state fair in Sacramento. And at the state fair, they had a booth up for my first company. And I went over and got some information. No, he didn't get any information. And he came to a meeting in Sacramento, an hour and a half away from him in Stockton. And he walked in, and I you know, me being very social, I talked to everybody. First nugget, be sociable. And I got his name and started talking a little bit. I said, who invited you? He goes, nobody. I go, nobody invited you to this meeting? He said, nobody. I was at the state fair, I saw it, they were too busy to talk to me. So I called on the phone, we're at the home office, and they told me where the nearest meeting for me was an hour and a half from me. And he came to Sacramento. I said, really? So nobody invited you? He goes, nope. I put my arm around him, I said, look, you're my new best friend. Not only did he sign up that night, I did too. So I got my first IBO by just showing up. See, that's another key, second nugget. You got to sometimes just show up. God will bless you by just showing up. And I signed him up, and we went on to build a huge organization. But then again, let's go back. First one I got. I remember another gentleman I signed up, a guy named Ted LaPoose, out in Stockton, California. A Filipino gentleman, had a couple of businesses. Him and his wife were really good in network marketing. They'd done it before. And this guy, I'm impressed with him because he was in a hospital having a triple bypass surgery done. He recruited the doctor, his doctor, the nurse, and the girl at the front desk. Well, most people in the hospital, like, thinking about their situation. Not him. He made the best out of every situation, and that's what people don't do. You have a flat tire, that's just a moment or second or two. It's not your whole day, it's not your whole week, it's not your whole month, but people let one little thing destroy their whole day. Another person I think of, a guy named Kevin Kong up in Portland, Oregon. Kevin Kong was from Vietnam. No, Laos, excuse me. And what I'm so impressed with this young man, he would dress like a golfer. Nothing he had on match. And he would butcher the English language. But he had the tenacity. I've never met a man like that. He dressed in stripes, plaids. I mean, he looked like a bad golfer. And Kevin would always walk around smiling. Kevin, you don't match. Thank you very much. Kevin, your hair needs to cut. Thank you very much. Whatever you said to him, you could never break that man's spirit. And what I understand about people that come from other countries, they come to America with the opportunity of looking for an opportunity, not a job. They want something better. You know, I was thinking of Dr. Miles Monroe when he went to Japan and they interviewed him. They took him out and he went to lunch with these people. And he asked them, he said, guys, if you don't mind me asking you, what's the key? Why do you guys come to America? They said, look, when we come to America from any foreign country, we don't come for a job. We get a job that lasts us so we can stack our money to open up a business. We never looked long term. We never looked at being here 2 and 3 and 4 years. We got there just enough to make enough money to open up a business. One business, another business, another business. They came to strive and they came to grow, not to get stagnant. You know, I tell people all the time, why are you allowing these people to take your dreams, desires, and they buy them cheap from you? And we sacrifice our future. It's amazing, Mr. Clemmons. I've never seen it happen. But here again, people, if you believe in you, and if you don't believe in you, start believing in you. Because if you don't believe in you, nobody else is. You know, we all have heard it. Mama said 90 was nothing, this was nothing, that was, you know, you got to forget that. You have to see what you want to go and then put the time and effort in. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. I never forget, I was watching Johnny Carson, the late show, years ago, decades ago. Some of you probably were really young. And they had these 2 guys on, and they were interviewing them. And one guy was a prominent doctor, and the other gentleman was just an alcoholic. And so Johnny was interviewing the one guy. He says, well, why are you a doctor? He goes, well, you understand, the reason why I'm a prominent doctor because my dad was a doctor. What else could I be? I said, wow. And so Johnny looked at the other gentleman and said, so why are you alcoholic? He says, well, my dad was a doctor. What else could I be? So in other words, we have 2 different extremes. One made a decision to build his life upon something. One made a decision to do nothing with life and just take the easy way out by staying on an alcohol. So it goes back to the individual. You know, God does not give us a spirit of fear, but of a sound mind. And people don't understand. We're not taught to believe in ourselves. It's unfortunate, but the way the world's going today, it's about division. This race against that race, this person against that person. We don't smile no more. You got to understand, this is what we have to help people understand, that you are the greatest asset is you. And with that, you can build a business. I've built several businesses. I've been into banking, I've been into real estate, I've been in network marketing, I've been in traditional business, I've online business. I mean, I've done it, and I'm nobody special. You know, nobody special. My dad was a sergeant in the service. I knew the first time that my dad called me downstairs to the basement, and he was under one of his cars, the hood was up, and he asked me to pass him a wrench. And I looked at his hand, how greasy it was, and I went over and got a wrench, passed it to him, and I had my hands dirty. I go, oh my God, I can't afford to have my hands, I can't stand dirt on my hands. And then calluses. And I started thinking right there I made a decision. I could do this, work manually, or I could work mentally. And I decided to work mentally and not work my back. So that was an important thing for me. You know, I tell people there's 4 phases in life that you got to go through when it comes to wealth and success. The first phase is survival money. Step 1, survival money. People late night doing all kind of crazy, weird things in the streets and around town and robbing, whatever. It's called survival. They're just in survival mode. They gotta, hey, just gotta get it. I gotta survive. The second level of money is what I call everyday money. You reach your pocket, you got bills, you can pay your bills, you got everyday money. Okay, it's money you do to spend things. Great. And then there's third level of money, which I call investment money, where you can have a little extra money to invest into a business or into a real estate project or whatever have you. See, so that's the second phase of money, or your second rental property, or third rental property. That's called investment money. What I really want to get people to the spiritual level, which is the 4th level, is called FU money. No, it's not what you think. It's fun unlimited. Fun unlimited. Fun unlimited. So fun unlimited. And that's where stage I'm at is fun unlimited. Because I want more and more people to inspire to their dreams, goals, aspirations. And the only way you're going to get there is put the time here in the beginning to get you to the different levels. It's not a cakewalk. It takes time. And the only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary. Anything of value takes work. Anything takes value. Relationship take work, kids take work, everything in life take work. This is no different. There's no such thing as a shortcut. A shortcut will cost you long term in the long run. So just keep it simple. So these are the things that I really want people to understand about building anything in life, whether it's network marketing, whether it's real estate or traditional business or online business. You know, it's also your brand. Branding yourself. What does your word say? Are you credible? When people hear your name, do they get excited or do they run the opposite direction? What does your name stand for? It's important. Integrity, quality, okay? Character, impeccable, superiority. Is superior. Is he a leader? Is he a master? Have you mastered it? A lot of people want to be mastery and don't understand mastery. Mastery is you learn something. Like let's take a book, for example. Very few people read books. I read a book first time and then I'll highlight as I read it. I go back and read the book the second time and I'll highlight things that I didn't highlight the first time. And then I'll go back the third time and read the highlights and I'll take notes on the highlights. And then I'll study and study and study and study and study till I master these things that I read. Most people read and think they got, no, you got to study it to be a master. Even on this trip down here on the plane, I'm sitting there and told the pilot, I got to study this, I'm studying. The guy was asking, what are you doing? I'm studying. And there's 16 things I'm studying as I landed because I want to learn these things. I want to get them to a point there in my subconscious mind that they just flow in my conversation. So we're always working on myself. ABC, always be closing on what? Learning more. Each and every day, in each and every way, I try to get better and better to learn more. And as I elevate in learning more, then therefore I could share the ideas of what I've got and show people, here's how I got there. Here's my footstep. Can you imagine me, you're coming to Vegas, and there you are in the desert, and all of a sudden I'm on a knoll there, and I'm getting fanned, I'm drinking nectars of the gods, eating grapes and everything, and all of a sudden you said, water, water, water. And all of a sudden, you look down and the sand, a smart person said, where's his footsteps at? Oh, let me put my feet in his footsteps and I can get to the top. Well, some other people would start rushing the mountain and it says, danger, landmines. Boosh. Or would you look in the sand for my footsteps and follow the footsteps to get to the top of the knoll? That's what smart people do. Everything I learned from my billionaire mentors. Everything I learned, I'm still reading books. I read about 3 or 4 books a month. Why? I'm still learning. I'm always learning. So the key is learn from those who's gone where you want to go, and they'll teach you how to get there.
So I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's always asking about your first million, right? But let's talk beyond that.
Okay.
What was it like getting that first 10 or 20 million?
Well, let me tell you, after the first million is always the hardest. It's always the hardest. From the first million to the next 5 million is easier. And 10 million is even easier because you know what to do. See, all it is rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. If you don't do it, here's what happened with most people. The reason why they can't get past the first million is because they make it difficult. They want to change up that recipe. Look, if my grandmother gave me a recipe for her delicious German chocolate cake, I'd be a fool to take out some of the ingredients and think it's going to be the same kind of cake she made. So you got to keep the same formula. And people do some of the things and don't know so why they do them. I'll give you a story. This guy came home for dinner one day, and some of you may have heard this story before. Came home for dinner one day and both ends of the ham was cut off. And he asked his wife, honey, why is both ends of the ham cut off? She goes, I don't know, my mama down in Virginia cut both ends of the ham off. So they called his mother back in Virginia. And she says, honey child, I don't know, my mama cut both the end of the ham off. So they called down to Alabama to grandma. Grandma, why did you always cut both the ends of the ham off? Grandma said, honey child, it's so simple. My roasting pan was just too small. So some people repeat the same things not knowing why, not knowing why. And that goes with failure. But if you're in business, you want to keep doing the same recipe that got you there. The same thing that got you to the dance. So the first million is the hardest. The second million, or between the second and fifth million, is about repeating the same formula. Don't change it. Keep the same ingredients. Don't care what everybody else. Keep the same ingredients. And you notice people that have recipes hand down through the family members, that the recipe stayed the same, their business is exploding, whether it's food or whatever it is, because it explodes. Why? Because it's a simple task. KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, don't change it, the recipe. Now from 10 million on up to scale it up is not that difficult. What happens is now we start reading our own press. It's about us. Oh, my name is, I am, we start reading our own press. Rather than saying humble by saying thank you, now we want to change things because now we're the man or we're the woman. Now we're a boss. We're not a boss. The bosses come in, how many people have have followed you and have you increased? How many millionaires have you created? To this day, I've created 18 millionaires. So the formula works. It shows people it works. But like I said, the hardest part, people, their ego and their pride interfere and they start falling down. You know, I can think of a young man today, I'm thinking about a young man who started on his success, who's done very well, making some, 5-figure incomes, and then all of a sudden he changed it up, believed the press, bam, he went right back down. And that's the mistake most people make. The hardest million is the first million. The rest is simple. It's duplicating the same formula and looking for new adventures. Being first in that space and then creating that space. If there's not a space, find out what it is. I think that a lot of people don't understand that. So when I do something, I first want to get an analysis of what people figure, what they want, and give it to them. Mm-hmm. See, most people try to, I think this was good. Well, you did, but what about your audience? Wrong. Find out what the audience wants and then give it to them. Serve it up on a platter. Give it to them what they want. And that's what the biggest mistake a lot of people make.
So next question, since we're talking about money. Let's talk about private jets.
Private jets. Oh my God. Well, see, private jets. Let me tell you about a jet. A jet just allows you to buy your time back. You can be in more places at once. I remember when I first got my first plane, it was a 414, a little Cessna 414. And I would take my group out in Sacramento. I'd take them over to Reno for the night. We'd fly over there after the meeting and take them all out to dinner. We'd catch a show and go back, about an hour, 45 minutes by air, in my little 414. And it was a great plane. And then I moved on to a Soul Citation. And then from there, I went to a Gulfstream. The beautiful thing about it is buys your time back. Now, let me go back. When I first got my first plane, my 414, I figured, oh my God, twin prop, turbo prop. It was a great plane. And what it allowed me to do is be in more places in a short amount of time. So it buys your time back. Mm-hmm. For example, I would do a meeting in Vegas and I'd get up and I'd get on the plane. My pilot would fly me into Stockton. I'd do a meeting in Stockton, California. And from Stockton, I would fly down to Fresno. I'd do a meeting in Fresno for lunch and have people come out to the jetway, meet me, get on the plane, see it. We have lunch at the airport. Get on the plane from Fresno. I fly down to the LA area, do a meeting up San Diego or LA in the afternoon, do a meeting there, fly back to Monterey, do a meeting there in Monterey in the late afternoon, and I'll be back in Sacramento that evening for dinner. Mm-hmm. So it allows me to go to 4 or 5 locations at one time because in California I needed that. That's what I needed. It was a tool plus a write-off. And as I moved into the bigger jets, the blessing there, when I wasn't using it, I put into a service. It's just like, the service. So
Airbnb on the air.
Airbnb in there, exactly. It's the same thing. How I got the idea was back in 1984, I think it was, my partner wanted, we started limousine service in the Bay Area. And he was a lineman. And I said, man, I found a way we could make some money together. So I went down and I bought 2 limos that day. Bought 2 limos. It was a black one and a blue one in the showroom there in Oakland at the dealership. And I came in jeans and the guy looked at me and he looked off. And I said, okay, he's judging me by my jeans. Or whatever. And I walked to another salesman sitting there. I said, he got off the phone. I said, sir, I want you to sell me that blue because blue's my favorite color. I want you to sell me that blue limo right there. Mm-hmm. And he made me a little deal. I said, okay, great, back and forth, back and forth. I said, okay, great. Now, make me a deal on both the cars. First order negotiation. Get the first one. Now, give me a package deal on both of them. And about an hour later, they opened up the windows of the showroom and drove out with both the limos. And I walked over to the salesman that mouth dropped, eyes bugged out his head. I said, don't ever judge a book by its cover. You could have got 2 for the price of 1, but you didn't. So don't judge people. So that taught me then, as I learned out limos, why I want to do the same thing with jets. And when I had the limos, on the weekends, I would drive as an undercover boss. So I was doing undercover boss decades before this show came out. Because I would drive the limo when I was bored and to find out what the drivers were doing. Actually, we had a driver that took the car around the lake there in Oakland, a place called Biff's restaurant. There used to be payphones, telling my age. And he got out to make a phone call to call his girlfriend up. And he left the car going. And somebody jumped in and took off joyriding. We found the car 3 days later. My partner wanted to fire the guy. I go, no, don't do that. He goes, why not? Why not? I go, well, he's too valuable to us. What do you mean valuable? I said, he'll never make that mistake again. And my partner said, that makes sense. We'll keep him. But going back to the jets will buy your time back. So when I'm not using it, it was in a service. So it paid for itself. But that's one thing people don't understand. To think is to create, and to create is to think. All I did was say, wait a minute, we did it with limos, why can't I do it with jets? Same concept, just more zeros. That's all it is. And it rented out it took care of itself. When I needed a jet for something personal, go somewhere, I have it at my disposal. And it cost me zero. And when you buy them, I bought it at such a good price and I sold them at such a good price. You make money when you buy it, not when you sell it. Same thing with real estate. I always make money when I bought it, not when I sold it. Same thing with jets, same concept. See, here again, it's a cookie cutter. If it worked in limos, it could work in jets, it could work in real estate. So I bought the jet, sold it, made money on the jet. I had it for free and it paid for itself with a cash flow. Everything I do has a cash flow. If it doesn't cash flow, it doesn't make sense. In other words, if it doesn't make dollars, it don't make sense. So yeah, sold that one and bought another one. Another one came up for sale. Bought that one too. And I rode around that one when I was using it, went to service, paid for itself, made me money. I said, man, this is amazing. Why do more people not do this? It's called fear. False education appearing real. Boop, right here. Or they go ask their their friends what they think, and their friends say, oh man, how would they know? They don't have anything accumulated. They're paycheck to paycheck. So, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they're not willing to try something, to invest, or step out in faith. Mm-hmm. So I sold that one, got another one, sold that one. And matter of fact, a year ago, you and I looked at one. Oh. Well, they brought it down to us in Dallas. We're down in Dallas for a function. And after that function was over that Sunday, we went to look at it. And we liked it. And I told him if it got down another $200,000, let's get it. If we get it down to $3 million, we'll take it. Mm-hmm. And the guy sold it for 2.1 or 2.2. Mm-hmm. All the way from, I think it was 5 million or 6 million, 5 million. Yep. From 5 million, he came all the way down. And he was at $3.5 million. I said, if it goes down to 3 million, we'll buy it. And he sold it at $1.1 million, I believe, or $1.2 million. Mm-hmm. But that's all right. There's others out there. So a jet will buy your time back. And when you're not using it, it can make money for you. Airbnb, it's the same thing, but you do it with jets. It's no difference, sir. It's no difference. It's how big do you see? How big do you think? You want a $1,000 cash flow, or you want a $10,000 cash flow, or you want a $20,000 cash flow? Or 40 or 50 or $100,000 cash flow. When I get talking those numbers, it scares people. They don't think it's possible. It's possible.
All right, so here we are, different country. I know we had this talk a while back. We was talking about I remember when we first got together, I was always wanting to buy a place out in Vegas, somewhere near you. And years later, never bought the place in Vegas, but we're now neighbors in a different country with debt-free properties. Mm-hmm. How does that feel?
Man, it feels good. Debt-free feels good. And matter of fact, I'm looking at some other to buy. We already analyzed what we paid will triple in the next, I'd say 36 months, not 60 months, because we got in when things were just starting to crack ground, starting to go. And like I said, that's what leaders do. They get in early. Everybody else get in later. Mm-hmm. Even in stock market, the big boys get in early because they get in on the friends and family, and then everybody else buys the rest. And the same thing with investing in real estate or starting network marketing. It's the same thing. You get in and you go building. So I'm excited about our opportunity here. I'm excited. And not only that, we're not stopping here. We're looking at other countries because it makes so much sense. But people need to stretch themselves. If I had a rubber band, sir, and I stretch it and stretch it and stretch it and stretch it and stretch it, it won't pop. If I hold it here for say 5 or 6 minutes and release it, it will never go back here. It will be stretched to here. Yep. And a lot of people are so scared they're going to stretch. You're not going to pop, You're not going to pop because God doesn't make junk. So all we're doing, I'm living my best life by doing the things I teach, the things that I show people, and we're here to help you build. So it's not that difficult. I'm so ecstatic. I'm ecstatic that you listened and followed. I'm so glad that, now you're mentoring me on internet stuff because I know nothing about, but I feel great about being here investing in this country. And we're also looking at another country we talked about. And that's soon to come. But follow us. Do something today to change your life and your location. Why not you? It's funny. I used to have 3 homes I lived between when I was doing network marketing at the height of it. I had 3 homes I lived between. When I would go shopping, I'd say, lady, I need 3 of these black shirts, 3 of these, and 4 of those. No, 3 of these, 3 of these, and 3 of these. She looked at me like, sir, you got 3 of the same colors, and 3 of the same things. I said, yes, ma'am, I understand that because I have 3 homes I live between. zoom, right over the head. She didn't understand a word I said. All she knew was I was buying 3 of this, 3 of that, and 3 of those. And it didn't make sense to her. Even after sharing with her, I have 3 homes that I live between. People can't understand. But then again, some people are not meant to understand. Not everybody can go where God's got you going. Where are you going? So you got to understand, that's how people are, my task and my calling is help people who want it. Mm-hmm. There's an old saying go, Mr. Clemmons, you can only help people who want help, need help, and above all else, want to help themselves. Can you and I truly help them? They got to want help. Mm-hmm. Not everybody said help, needs help and want help. Some people always play the victim. Some people go so far. Some people even argue with me in my success. I'll tell you a funny story. I'll never forget, I got off the jet plane. I was in LA, and I had my cowboy boots on, and I had my big old cowboy belt buckle on, and I'm doing a touring cross on the back of the jet, and I said, oh, it's my turn to talk to the guy bringing gas to my jet. I get off the plane, and I start sharing with him how you can make money in the network marketing business. And you believe it or not, this guy says, he said to me, does it really work? He's putting gas in my plane, and he's asking me, does it really work? I got back on the plane, everybody said, well, what happened? I goes, he's about 3 French fries short of a Happy Meal. Hey, they walk among us. It's so funny, they walk among us. They walk among us. You know, I could tell you story after story. I've been in planes. I remember landing my jet once, and we're up in Oregon, and the plane next to me where we pulled up had a parrot on the back, and guess whose plane it was? Jimmy Buffett.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was amazing. I remember one December we parked the plane, and we're on tour, and we parked the plane in December. We're in our tour in Florida, and they landed the jet, and we had to pull alongside the hangar there, and there was 2 identical jets, Gulfstreams. I mean, matching. Like some people have matching cars or his and hers. It was matching jets. I said, what a vulgar display of wealth. Matching jets. And there was a guard here on all 4 corners of the jet. I said, oh my God. And we parked ours right next to it. And I got out the jet and I said, well, I'm nosy. I got to figure out, man, who is this? Who is this person? And I walk over and I asked the guard, I said, excuse me, whose jets are these? It was the president of Mexico's wife. She was down there shopping in the December frame for Christmas, her and a couple of girlfriends. The girlfriends was on one jet and the gifts was on the second jet. And I said, wow. Money. But see, if you're not in place to see it, you'll never see it. Right. Let me talk about money for a second. Money's all around us, but most of us are not trained to see it. Let me give you an idea for you in your town. If I ask you, where's the car dealership? What street is that on? Well, Vegas, it's Sahara. Mercedes, BMW, Volvo, all the car dealerships, Nissan, all of them right there on one street. The guy across town by himself is broke. Why? It takes your whole gallon of gas to get to him. Wealth is always accumulated. They work as a team. Together, each achieves more. They're all together. If I ask you in your town, where's that street at? You'd have a name for it, wouldn't you? See, now you're starting to see wealth, but you weren't trained to see it. Watch this. Not only that, if I asked you, all of them are right there together. Have you ever been to 4 corners of a stop sign and also a stoplight? You got McDonald's on one corner, Burger King over here, KFC on this corner, and McDonald's over there.
Same with gas stations.
Same with gas stations. Exactly. That's wealth. The people that together each achieves more, all 4 corners. Mm-hmm. So how many times you go to get some KFC, the line's long, car's long, in the line, you say, well, let's go to McDonald's across the street. You come back home, but honey, why'd you bring that home? I thought you went to get KFC. Well, because the line was long. See, they got you coming and going because they understand that average person don't see wealth. They don't see it. So therefore they got you. Same thing with gas stations. We have a place in Vegas on Jones Sahara. 3 gas stations, 2 are owned by the same owner. They know if you're going this way, you stop here. If you're going that way, you cross the light, you go there. If that line's long, you're going to go here. They know it. Matter of fact, there's a guy in Vegas, the family owns 300 gas stations. I'll say it again, 300 gas stations. And actually, they were neighbors of mine. When you go to the gates there in Vegas and Red Rock area, guard gate, he went left to my place, you go right. He had to go through 2 gates to get to his house. He had to go through 3 gates to get to my private home where I live. But here again, that's how wealth is. Wealth is all around us, but most people are not trained to see wealth. They were trained to be worker bees, as sad as it is. But I want to lift people's spirit to understand what to see. That's wealth.